Watching someone you love struggle with addiction can feel overwhelming and heartbreaking. You might feel helpless, confused, or even angry. But it's so important to remember that your support can be a powerful force for healing. Today, we're going to talk about 5 meaningful ways you can support a loved one who is facing addiction. This isn't just about what to do. It's about how to do it with love, understanding, and strength. So, if you're looking for guidance, you've come to the right place. Let's start with the first, and perhaps most foundational, step. Educate yourself about addiction. This might sound simple, but it is one of the most powerful things you can do. Addiction is a complex disease, not a moral failing or a lack of willpower. It physically and chemically changes the brain, affecting decision-making, impulse control, and emotional regulation. By taking the time to learn about the science behind it, you're moving from a place of judgment to a place of understanding. There are incredible resources out there. You can read books, look at reputable websites like the National Institute on Drug Abuse, or watch documentaries. Understanding the signs, the symptoms, and the different types of addiction will help you recognize what's really going on. It helps you see the person behind the disease. For example, you might learn that certain behaviors you thought were choices are actually symptoms of their struggle. This knowledge doesn't excuse harmful actions, but it does provide context. The more informed you are, the better equipped you'll be to have compassionate conversations, recognize warning signs, and offer genuine, empathetic support instead of reacting from a place of frustration or confusion. The second way to help is to offer genuine, unconditional support. Addiction is an incredibly isolating disease. It often fills people with feelings of shame, guilt, and worthlessness, making them believe they're a burden or that they are unlovable. They might push people away because they're afraid of being judged or rejected. This is where your steady presence becomes a lifeline. You need to actively remind your loved one that they are not alone and that your love for them hasn't changed. Show them, through both your words and your actions, that you care deeply and that you are willing to walk this difficult path alongside them. What does this look like in practice? It can be as simple as sending a text just to say, "I'm thinking of you." It could mean calling them to check in, with no agenda other than to hear their voice. A crucial part of this is learning to listen without judgment. When they do open up, try to just listen. Resist the urge to immediately offer solutions or lecture them. They are likely already overwhelmed with self-criticism. What they need is a safe space to be vulnerable. Your consistent, non-judgmental presence can slowly chip away at the wall of shame they've built around themselves, showing them that connection is still possible and that they are still worthy of love. Now, let's talk about the third crucial step. Encourage them to get professional help. While your support is vital, you are not a trained therapist or medical professional. Addiction is a disease, and like any serious illness, it requires professional treatment for the best chance at recovery. However, how you approach this conversation makes all the difference. It's a delicate subject, and timing and tone are everything. Try to find a calm, private moment to talk when they are sober, and you are both relaxed. Speak from a place of love and concern, not anger or frustration. Use I statements to express how their addiction is affecting you and your relationship. For instance, instead of saying, "You need to stop this now," you could try, "I'm scared for your health, and I miss the time we used to spend together. I really want to see you get better." Avoid blame, shame, or ultimatums, as this will likely just make them defensive and shut down. Offer to help them take the first step. You could say, "I've been looking into some resources. Can we look at them together?" Or, "I'd be willing to go with you to your first appointment if that would help." If the situation feels too complex or you're unsure how to even begin the conversation, consider consulting an intervention specialist. These are professionals trained to facilitate these conversations in a structured, compassionate, and effective way. Remember, the goal is to open a door to help, not to force them through it. Once your loved one agrees to get help, your role evolves. This brings us to our fourth point. Stay involved in their recovery. Recovery is not a one-time event. It's a lifelong journey with ups and downs. The period after initial treatment is often the most vulnerable time. Your ongoing encouragement and involvement can be a stabilizing force that makes all the difference. So, how can you stay involved? Ask them what they need. They might want you to attend a family therapy session or a support group meeting with them, like an open AA meeting or a smart recovery family and friends meeting. This not only shows your support but also helps you better understand their recovery process. Help them build new, healthy routines to replace old, destructive ones. Maybe you can start exercising together, find a new hobby to share, or simply schedule regular, sober hangouts. It's also critical to understand that relapse can be a part of the recovery process for many people. It doesn't mean they've failed or that treatment isn't working. If a setback happens, try to approach it with compassion rather than criticism. Remind them of the progress they've already made and encourage them to get back on track. And most importantly, celebrate their wins, no matter how small they seem. A day, a week, or a month of sobriety is a huge accomplishment. Acknowledging their effort reinforces their progress and gives them the motivation to keep going. Finally, and this is something people often neglect, our fifth point is, don't forget to take care of yourself. Supporting someone through addiction is emotionally, mentally, and sometimes even physically draining. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You might experience a roller coaster of emotions: hope, fear, anger, exhaustion. It is not selfish to admit that this is hard on you. It's realistic and necessary. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you burn out, you won't be able to offer effective support to anyone. So, make sure you are actively tending to your own well-being. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating nourishing foods that fuel your body? Are you making time for exercise to release stress? These basic acts of self-care are non-negotiable. Beyond that, seek your own support system. This is crucial. Talk to a trusted friend, a family member, or a therapist who can provide a safe space for you to process your own feelings. Consider joining a support group specifically for the friends and family of those with addiction, like Al-Anon or Nar-Anon. Being in a room with people who understand exactly what you're going through is incredibly validating and empowering. They can offer practical advice and emotional support that is hard to find elsewhere. Prioritizing your own health isn't just for you. It makes you a more resilient and sustainable source of support for your loved one. Remember, you cannot control their choices, but you can control your own responses. You can choose to be a source of informed, compassionate, and steady support. It's a challenging journey, but by educating yourself, offering genuine care, encouraging help, staying involved, and taking care of your own needs, you are doing everything you can to help your loved one find their way back to health and hope. You are not alone in this, and help is available for you too. Thank you so much for watching and for taking the time to learn how to be there for someone you care about. If this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content on mental health and wellness. Take care.